What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Live Game, episode 98. This is the average man's perspective on football. I'm your co-host, Marcus. Joining me on the panel tonight is Herman. Say what up, Herman.
Hey, hey, hey.
Next up, we got Mark. Say what up, Mark.
Good evening.
Oh, damn.
And next up, we got Brian. Say what up, Brian.
Thanks for joining us.
I'm the one selling the records. They coming to see me. They coming to see the Temptations. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Before we get started, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe. Especially if you're watching on YouTube. You can also catch us on Facebook in our Facebook group, The Live Game. We're also on Twitter at the official The Live Game. And Instagram, no, actually, I'm sorry, it's reverse. Twitter is The Live Game 3. Instagram is the official delay of game. We had a lot of games this past week, especially on Thanksgiving. Hope you guys enjoyed the Thanksgiving. Got to eat and enjoy some football. Herman is hosting the show tonight, so go ahead and start us off, Herman.
Are we sure about that?
We've declared it, so it's you.
All right, so let's get into the week of news in the NFL. Marcus, we will let you kick this one off.
Sources say that Urban Meyer isn't interested in leaving the NFL for any of the current college head coaching vacancies. We'll see. He can still wind up in Notre Dame.
Right. They say that, but you never know.
If we lose that season bad enough.
Right. I'll take the next news story. Cowboys defensive tackle Tristan Hill had his 2-game suspension for punching Raiders guard John Simpson reduced to 1 game after appeal. Reason being, I think, is because if you see more of the video, you'll see where John Simpson has his helmet on and is in the face of Tristan Hill, pushing him with his helmet. Hill should have walked away. He didn't. He punched him, so he got the game suspension. Brian, take the next one.
Browns GM Andrew Berry reiterated that Baker Field is the Browns starter and he expects his best football after the bye week. I don't know about that best football thing, but we'll see.
Yeah, me either. And Mark, go ahead and wrap up the last news story.
Steelers coach Mike Tomlin said there's a change that's coming in the Steelers, saying we will change what we do and who we do it with. That's Mike Tomlin, a.k.a. Omari.
Next time,
I was so hoping Herbert didn't read it.
I was so hoping he didn't read
the rundown in advance.
I need you to get on me.
I said, I was going to fall out.
Yeah, some changes coming to the Steelers, y'all. So.
Yeah, did you hear about the your Claypool?
Claypool,
he wants some music.
More music in there.
Yeah. Basically telling like, you play wide receiver and I'll handle the practice.
Yeah, I like his response.
I like his response. Like straight up for real.
And look, and it wasn't cold. He was just straight to the point. It was
like, no code or nothing. He straight up. Right. He straight up carried him. He let him know. All right, and then there was other news. Looks like the Dallas Cowboys are dealing with a COVID-19 breakout. They're gonna be missing a lot of coaches,
including the head coach.
Yeah,
I forgot.
Yeah. It just, we're gonna work on the producer because we might have to get a new one.
Darian getting ready to graduate, right, Herman?
Man. All right, let's move on to the hot topics of the week, and we're gonna start this first hot topic off. And I mean, we talk about it off and on all season long, but should the NFL employ full-time referees. There's been a lot of controversy with the refs off and on this year, inconsistencies, interjection into the games too much, plays or just you scratch your head. So, and a lot of these referees, they have regular full-time jobs when, during the off season. They're professionals. Even during the season, they're professionals, So what do you think, to make the quality of officiating better in the NFL, should the NFL hire, full-time referees? Marcus, I'll let you start this one off.
I'm going to say, why not? Currently, the average NFL referee earns about $200,000 a year. And then they also get a potential pension plan, and they get a per game amount. So, I mean, they make enough to be employed full time. I'm sure they get free. I mean, I don't know the base. I'm sure they probably get free lodging and free hotel flights. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing on that. I haven't read anything to that effect, but I would figure, as much money as the NFL make, they should be able to do that for the referees. But there are some referees who I've heard who are doctors and lawyers, and they probably make way more than that. So I would assume some of them probably wouldn't want to be full time. I mean, some would. I mean, for that type of money, and for those type of benefits, I'd definitely be a full time NFL ref. So should they do it? I would probably say yeah. They should have practice every day like like the teams do, and go over film and everything. Because apparently, whatever they're doing now doesn't work all that great. So I say, yeah, make them full-time referees.
Mark, what you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it too, Marcus. I think they should. But the part-time officials really, I mean, they almost like they have one leg in the water. They're not held just like the players and coaches, where weekly they have meetings and get together to review and work on the craft more often. The refs don't really get a chance to do that as much. I think it's important that if they did it, you will find out if they were under some type of if they met more often and review over what the calls they missed or they messed up on, and they could be taken by their peers an embarrassment of some sort by their peers and officials. I think it'll put a different light on it. But you all know, you work in a full-time job, a part-time job. Your part-time will take backs. It's simple as that. But yeah, I think it should be full-time. The question is, I think would the NFL put up the extra money to pay them full-time? The real question, would they do that? I think for the main state, for the league and for the NFL, it'll be worth their time to do it. So yeah, I definitely agree they should be full time. And I think we'll do a lot better with the calls, and you'll see more consistency through all this than what we see right now.
Yeah, I mean, like Marcus said, I mean, you're making over $200,000 a year. It shouldn't hurt the NFL's pockets to make them full time.
That's the average, though. That's the average.
That's the average.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's the average. That means some are making more.
True.
So
some are making less too, though.
Yeah, that's true. But if they're paying part-time refs in the average of that amount, I mean, if you're a full-time ref and if they want you to go full-time, you don't want to go full-time, then they need to move on. But yeah, to me, to have a dedicated set of refs who work together, crews should stay together because they can work well together. And like you said, review film, work on their craft, figure out ways to not only improve what they're doing now, but improve officiating for the game, overall. You have a head of officiating for the NFL, who I'm sure is full time. Why not have full time referees? And they need to be held accountable too, because like right now they're graded, and you might get you can't do a playoff game, or you can't do a
Super Bowl.
A Super Bowl. But what does that really mean to them? That's one less game they got to do, but they still getting probably paid the same.
Yeah, you can pay. They say you get average $10,000 to officiate a Super Bowl game.
Yeah, so you get more. That's like a bonus. It'd be like a bonus bump, but they're not going to lose with the salary that they're making. So yeah, I mean, I don't see how it would hurt things. You know, you'd have a full-time crew of people working on ways to make officiating the game better, and all that can do probably is increase, the game. So I think full-time referees would be good. Brian?
Yeah, I'm on board with you guys with the full time. I mean, and not only just full time, but I mean like full time. I mean like some type of class, some type of training process that these guys go through. You know, if you aspire to be an NFL ref, you can go through this course and you can learn this and you can proceed, through high school, I guess college, and then up to the pros. And I do, like said, Herman said, you need to get punished when you make a bad call. You need to get dollars taken away from you. Whatever your salaries, if you got so many points, they go back and look and say, hey, man, you called this wrong, you called this wrong. I'm taking some of this money back. You get fined or whatever, so that you make a better game. The NFL has billions and billions of dollars. It's not about if they can spend the money. Paying refs ain't going to kill the NFL, okay? You just add that into the dollar amounts that you try to get from these different NBC and CBS and, ESPN.
Television
just add that in television. Just add that into the deal. So it is definitely time. I mean, it's just really kind of ridiculous that the NFL is this cheap. And like Mark said, he gave a great point. Your part-time is always going to suffer over your full-time. If you're a judge,
That's definitely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you're a judge, and you got a big case, you're trying to look over these documents and everything, you're not going to be too concerned about the Raiders Buffalo game, on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? You ain't worried about that. But if it's your full-time job, it's your livelihood, I think you get a much better product on the field. And it just benefits. I mean, some of these games are just ridiculous with the penalties that we've been seeing.
Yeah. And not to mention too, like you said, like training, some type of academy you can go to. You can work or test them for hand-eye coordination. I mean, you can't have somebody out there who's slow to react to things or their vision doesn't see things. They don't process things as fast. The NFL they always talk about how fast the game is and how quickly the speed is on the field. So you need to have people out there whose eyes are constantly adjusting to what they're seeing, who can react to what they're seeing. And it's like you said, if you're a judge or a lawyer and you got cases going on, that stuff's going to creep back into your mind. When it's, when you're out there on the field, it's just.
And just think, Herman, like you said, if they're in a class, we could get younger refs.
Yeah,
most of these refs are 60s in their 60s and 70s. Some of these dudes can't even get out of the way.
Right.
If we could get young refs with quick eyes, that would be phenomenal. Yeah.
It definitely would.
That would be phenomenal.
Make a difference. Yeah. So.
We need to write a letter and send that to the NFL.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to
what do you got to think about maybe having ex-players? Maybe not some not Hall of Famers like Peyton Manning, somebody, but ex-players coming in to be
I think they could try out.
Yeah, you could try it, but the only ones you think it would probably be receivers and corners.
I mean, most NFL players hate refs, so I don't know if you'd want to be a ref.
What lineman's going to run around the game?
Right. So a lot of them lose weight after
some of them do, and some of them
don't. Some go the other way. Some of them more than that 600-pound life.
Yeah, exactly. But that would be interesting too. But then I don't know. They have their mentality is a little skewed with the game too. Like if I was on offense, if I was a wide receiver, all through the NFL, I would probably be prone to call pass interference way too much. I would. I'd be like, he's touching him, bad, So that would probably be bad in that sense.
He blew on the guy.
Exactly. Flags. All right, let's move on to the next hot topic. Do you have more faith in the Patriots or the Bucks to make the Super Bowl this year? And we will start with Brian since he went last time.
Man, this is a good question. Before the season started, I'm sure everybody had way more faith in the Bucks than the Patriots. But the Patriots are on a 6-game winning streak. Mm-hmm. The defense is playing lights out. The running game is on point, and the quarterback is not making mistakes. I mean, this is the Patriots' MO when Tom Brady first got there. Don't make no mistakes. Let the defense keep us in the game, and we'll win at the end. I got the Patriots, man. I think the Patriots have a much better chance of getting to the Super Bowl, man. The Bucks, first off, they lost to the WTF. So, that's a ding right there. That's not funny, Marcus.
No, it's not funny at all.
And their secondary is questionable. Their defense is not as potent as it was last year. Brady's making way more mistakes this year than he seems like he ever has, and I just see the momentum. And I got the Patriots, guys.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Brian. And didn't expect it at all at the beginning of the season. Didn't expect much from the Patriots, but right now the Patriots they're hot. They've gotten hot a little earlier than some teams might want to be. But on the AFC side, it's just wide open. Like the team, as soon as you think a team is about to dominate, they don't. The Patriots are doing it right now. But that could change in a heartbeat too. But I will say that in my opinion, in the AFC side, it's more open than it is on the NFC side. As for the Bucks, I just don't believe in the Bucks. Like Brian said, they lost to WTF, and they just haven't looked good. They haven't looked good like they did last year. And not to mention, in my opinion, the Cardinals are the best team in the NFC right now. And to me, you stack up the Cardinals at full strength against the Bucks, I'm going with the Cardinals on that one. So until the Bucks show that they can consistently do something, my belief would be in the Patriots also. Mark?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to second and third that emotion. I'm gonna agree with the Patriots. But just like Brian had said, at the beginning of the season, I would never thought that the Patriots would be sitting at the way they're sitting at right now. Because the momentum they have going into December. To me, December is the month that you really pay attention to what's rising up to the top, and it's definitely the Patriots. So the Bucks don't look as consistent as they normally would with Brady. So yeah, I'm riding. I ride all the way with the Patriots, making it more so than the Bucks. And I think the true test too for the Patriots is coming up. With they got 2 games against the Bills coming up, and another game against the Colts. So we're going to see really what they made of, and then going back on the Bucks. I mean, the Washington football team aren't the top notch team, but you lost to them. That do take a little notches out of your belt as far as that's concerned. But yeah, I'm taking the Patriots as being the one.
Marcus?
Hey Herman, before Marcus goes too, just real quick, doesn't Belichick look so much smarter too, letting Cam go?
Oh yeah,
and going with the rookie.
Oh, absolutely.
You remember how we were kind of like, I don't know about that,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I mean, wow.
Yeah. Mark.
Yeah, I'm also got to go with the Patriots because much like you said, Herman, I feel like the AFC is more wide open than the NFC. I mean, the Chiefs, they seem to be getting their mojo back, but I'm not 100% sold on them. The Bills not looking like, like the Bills not looking like they're all that great. The Titans aren't looking all that great. Baltimore, they're winning games, but they're barely winning games. So the only, so I just feel like the AFC is way more open, and like you said, the Patriots right now on a very hot streak, and they're just running through these games. It's like a 6-game winning streak. And so I just feel like the AFC is much more wide open than the NFC, because NFC, I mean, you got, like you said, the Cardinals, you got Green Bay. If Dallas gets their thing together, you still got Dallas to contend with. I just feel like it's not as wide open. So if I had to say who had a better chance of making it, I would definitely say at this point on this day, it would definitely be the Patriots.
All right, so we all agreed on the Patriots on that. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the review of the games from last week. We're going to start the first game off. We had the first Thursday game. It was the Bears at the Lions. And as you can see, I'm wearing this stupid hat.
You might want to turn it around.
Hold on, I got to get my headset right. What do you mean? Wow.
Because, it's like the stadium's coming through your hat. You're like, X-ray, man.
Yeah, too bad. You get what you get. So, all right.
Like Invisible Man.
I can't, since I'm hosting, I can't spin. All right, so we had the Chicago Bears going to Detroit. Poor Detroit lost another one. It was a close game. It was actually, this game wasn't that bad. It was a close game. It came down to the wire. Andy Dalton started for the Bears. He was 24 for 39, 317 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Leading rusher for the Bears was David Montgomery, 17 carries, 46 yards. Leading receiver for the Bears was Darnell Mooney, 5 receptions, 123 yards. On the flip side for Detroit, Jared Goff, 21 for 25, 171 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Jamal Williams was the leading rusher for Detroit, 15 carries, 65 yards. And the leading receiver for Detroit was Josh Reynolds, 3 receptions and 70 yards. Marcus, who'd you pick for this one?
I picked the Bears. This was it was an okay game. It was kind of close, but it just seemed like the Lions can't really catch a break. Jared Goff did play, but he only had 171 yards, but he did have 2 touchdowns. It just the Bears were a better team that day, and it's like I said, it just seemed like Detroit can't catch a break. But I did pick the Bears, and I was right.
Mark?
Yeah, Andy Dalton, as you say, started for Justin Fields. Threw for 317, threw for 300 yards. I took the Bears in this one too. The Lions just can't close a game to save their souls. Man. I feel so sorry for the Lions fans. And they did a terrible job in situation football. The last final minutes to call those back-to-back timeouts and give the Bears more momentum to get down there, kick the field goal was just, that's poor coaching. That's poor situation for them. They definitely have to work on that. But the Bears did what they needed to do. They won the game. But the Lions, another sad Lions loss. I took the Bears.
Brian?
Yeah, I was with you two guys. I also chose the Bears, man. And, the Red Rifle did his thing, man. The Bears offense put up 310 passing yards, held time of possession 32 minutes and 56 seconds to 27 minutes and then 4 seconds for the Lions. Like Mark said, man, the Lions just can't close out a game. First drive, they go down, touchdown. All shucks. Herman might be right on this one, but nah, it didn't end up working out for him, man. And be honest with you, man, I just don't see on the schedule where they have a chance to get a dub in this season. It's just getting later and later, and the opportunities are getting less and less. But there was a fun fact: the Lions have scored fewer than 20 points in 10 straight games. So that is a recipe for being 0-9-1. But I did pick the Bears. I picked this one right.
Yep, and as you can tell, since I'm wearing the hat, I picked the Lions. Yep. Just like you guys said, they just can't finish a game. They went down and they scored, and I was like, uh-oh, did I get one right? And the Bears came back on them, and then the Lions got the lead again, and they just crumbled at the end like they seem to always do. They fight hard. They're not giving up for their coach. They fight hard, but they just can't finish a game. And pick the Lions, and I got it wrong.
Hey, Swift got hurt in that game, didn't he?
Yes, he only had 3 carries.
Yeah.
I don't need you to play that twice. You play it when it starts. No.
We play when you start talking and when you finish talking.
No, you play it when you start talking, and that's it.
I mean, you're going to hear it more than once anyway.
Let him produce.
Nobody asked you all that. Okay, so remember when you were at,
You were trying to be a rebel last week. Trying to be a rebel.
You gotta risk it to get the biscuit, right?
Well, you got the biscuit, buddy.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the second game. The Las Vegas Raiders traveled to Dallas to play the Cowboys. Raiders pulled this one out in overtime, 36-33. David Carr was 24 for 39, 373 yards, 1 touchdown. Josh Jacobs was the leading rusher, 22 carries for 87 yards and a touchdown. Hunter Renfrow was the leading receiver, 8 receptions, 134 yards. And Deshaun Jackson was second leading receiver, 3 receptions for 102 yards and 1 touchdown. On the flip side, Dak Prescott, 32 for 47, 375 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tony Pollard was the leading rusher for the Cowboys, 10 carries, 36 yards. Gallup was the leading receiver, 5 catches, 106 yards. And Cedric Wilson actually was second behind Gallup, 7 receptions, 104 yards. Mark, I'll let you start this one off.
Yeah, the passing of these two quarterbacks, both throwing for over 3 yards, both combined almost 750 yards passing for both quarterbacks. So this was an exciting game. They were going up and down the field. A lot of penalties, man. A lot of laundry left on the field. But most importantly, the last one, the pass interference on Anthony Brown was what really cost the game for you all. Some people would question if it was a pass interference under the book of the law. He didn't turn around and look for the ball, so therefore I thought it was a good call. But they wasn't calling calls like this early in the game, so I can understand why the Cowboys fan would be upset about it. But I think it was the right call. I did choose the Cowboys in this one, so I did lose, but it was an exciting game. I took the Cowboys.
Marcus.
I also took the Cowboys. Much like Mark already said, the penalties this game, both teams had 14 penalties. The only difference is that Dallas had 14 for 166 yards, which is way too many. Both teams not showing a lot of discipline. I don't know. I just feel like at some point, once you get 3 pass interference calls, maybe the coach will pull you out. maybe you just in your head at that point. Just don't see like nothing you do is right. And that's pretty much the game right there. Just the fact, also the fact that the Raiders shut down the running game. I had Pollard in my fantasy league. One for that return, I probably would have lost because they didn't really do much on running. But this game came down to penalties, and it was just crazy to see 4 pass interference penalties on one person. They should have just took him out. He was in his head at that point. He couldn't do anything right. I picked the Cowboys, and I was wrong.
Brian.
Yeah, I picked the Cowboys on this one. And Mark is blind. The guy was holding the back of his helmet. So I don't know how you're supposed to turn your head when the receiver is holding the back of your helmet. So that was not a penalty. Nonetheless, it was called. It happened. But Marcus brought up a great point. 28 total penalties in this game is ridiculous. I don't care if they're holding on every play. 28 penalties is just too many.
It was a penalty bowl.
And it was a tough game. I mean, it was a good game. I mean, the Raiders played. They played very, very well, and the Cowboys played well enough to put up 437 yards without their 2 starting wide receivers. Amari didn't play, and CD went out in the first half at halftime. But they still amassed that thing. But it was the refs that cost us this game. And for all of y'all, throwing dirt on the Cowboys, thinking that they still don't have a chance to be on contention, just realize that the games that we lost, the only one that wasn't a game was the Broncos. Every other game we were in it and had opportunities to win the game. So you sleep.
Who said you still weren't going to make it to the playoffs?
No, if you listen to the national pundits and everybody, they like Dallas. They act like we,
Oh, yeah, we're done.
They're questioning that as well. They're questioning that as well.
Yeah,
so.
I don't buy into that at all.
So
still
good luck with that analogy. You'll be back on the bandwagon in about 2 weeks.
Who?
But I picked the Cowboys. I picked them wrong.
Yeah, I picked the Cowboys. All right, moving on to the next game. I mean, it was a lot of penalties, and in any game, that's just way too many penalties. But it was penalties on both teams. But the thing was the key to the penalties was when Dallas got the penalties. A lot of them were on third downs, and
third and
most
long.
of them seemed like they were third and longs. A lot of pass interference calls. Refs are supposed to be a little reluctant to throw that penalty that can decide a game. but not in that game. That ref, he had his finger on the trigger like Billy the Kid, just he was ready to go. So, hey, it is what it is. Dallas needs to do a better job. You need to learn to adjust too. The Raiders just start throwing balls up.
Yeah.
They just start throwing balls up, and the refs were calling penalties. We should have been doing the same thing. We should have adjusted, but we didn't. So we getting our people back. I now maybe we can fly under the radar. Everybody stop looking at Dallas because now we're supposed to be done anyway. So, but I picked the Cowboys and I got that one wrong. All right, let's move into the final Thursday night game. We had the Buffalo Bills traveling to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Game wasn't what I don't think any of us thought it was going to be. Buffalo won this one 31-6. It wasn't even close. Josh Allen, 23 for 28, 260 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And he threw 2 picks. Devin Singletary was the leading rusher, 15 carries, 44 yards. Josh Allen was the second leading rusher, 8 carries, 43 yards. Stephon Diggs, leading receiver, 7 receptions, 74 yards. On the flip side, New Orleans, Trevor Siemian, 17 for 29, 163 yards passing with 1 touchdown and 1 INT and 2 sacks. Tony Jones Jr. 16 carries, 27 yards. And the leading receiver was Lil Jordan Humphrey. 3 receptions for 47 yards.
That can't be his guy.
That's what it says, Lil Jordan. Yeah, like I said, this game was a sleeper. At this point in time, I'm sure we had all had too much to eat and was bored, especially watching this game. So hopefully you just spend the time with your family at this point. But Marcus, who'd you have in this one?
I did pick the Bills. Pick the Bills Mafia. I don't know if I was expecting this big of a blow, but when I was watching it, I actually wasn't surprised. I think now that the Trevor Siemian experiment is over, I think they're going to be starting. What's his name? Taysom Hill.
If his foot holds up.
His foot holds up. Yeah, they're definitely missing Jameis, and this was it was Drew Brees. He was on the broadcast team. This is his first time back into the stadium, since he left. And I don't know. It's always weird, team you spend so much time with, you want Super Bowl with, and go out there, you got to commentate on them getting their butt whipped.
Yeah, and he got honored at halftime too.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean the Bills went in there. They handled business. I still don't like the Josh Allen do 2 interceptions, but it is what it is. The Saints are not a good team. Losing, much as it feels weird to say this, I think losing Jameis really hurt their chances for the season. But I picked the Bills, and the Bills won.
That's crazy to hear you say that.
Losing
Jameis. Brian, take your time too, Brian. Take your time. Who'd you pick on this one?
And Marcus, they didn't only not have Jameis, but they didn't have Alvin Kamara, and they didn't have the other running back,
Ingram
in this game either. So they were severely handicapped.
Yeah.
They never got Michael Thomas on the field this season, which I thought that they were trying to tread water until he came back. Of course, he's on IR. He's out for the season. So the Saints were basically relying on their defense to keep them in this game. And it just wasn't possible. I mean, there were too many 3-and-outs on the offensive side of the ball. And the defense just ended up breaking down. So, I mean, give the Bills credit, man. They put up 361 offensive yards. They were 61% on third down, which is unheard of against that Saints defense. But I picked the Bills. Pick the Bills. Pay my bills. Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills? No. Okay. All right. I picked the Bills.
You should give me a warning. You can do that. I had to some music.
Oh, my fault. Actually, it just kind of popped up because Herman told me to take more time.
All right, but I picked the Bills on this one too. Thank goodness. I almost went with the Saints, but I wouldn't. Like I said, Mark wouldn't have lone wolf if I did.
Hey, for real, Herman. Me too. I was thinking the Saints for real.
Yeah, because the Bills
weren't playing good.
They seem so out of whack, and
Yeah.
they just hadn't been playing good. I mean, and like Marcus said, Josh Allen still threw 2 picks in this game. That's
and when you lose to the Jaguars, I mean, anything can happen.
Yeah,
that is true.
So I mean, they got this Monday night game coming up. It's going to be an interesting one. But the Bills need to get it together. It just they beat a bad team like they're supposed to, 31-6. But going into it again, like I said, it was hard to trust the Bills. It really was hard. It was truly hard to pick them, and I didn't think it was going to be like that this year. I was kind of trying to buy into Josh Allen and those 3 letters that I'll never mention in his same sentence with his name anymore. So, yeah, exactly. But I picked the Bills, and I got this one right.
I think Mark needs to go. I mean, I think Marcus needs to go again.
Marcus, did you have anything else you wanted to add to that?
No, not really. Mark, go ahead and go.
Okay. All right, Mark, what you got to say?
I took the Saints in this one, of course. Early in the game, Tre'Davious White, the cornerback of the Bills, went down. I was like, oh, great. Oh, they might be in trouble here. But the Bills rebound after that Jacksonville loss. I figured they would get themselves together at one point. I just didn't think it would be this game. But Saints not having full arsenal, I didn't pay attention to that one. I didn't beat it because I think one of them was a game time decision. But I took the Saints. The Saints didn't come to play, and the Bills did. So I'm winning that.
Your audio was a little muffled. Can you say all that again?
No.
Everything.
Herman, I thought he was gonna do it.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to this was just a Sunday game, I believe it was, right?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and move on to the Sunday game. The Tennessee Titans traveled to New England to take on the Patriots. This started off as a good game, and then the Patriots pulled away like they do at home all the time. I should have known better. I guess I'm starting my pick. But Mac Jones, 23 for 32, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns. Leading rusher for the Patriots was Ramondre Stevenson. That's how you say it. Ramondre Stevenson. 9 carries, 46 yards. Damian Harris was the second leading rusher, 11 carries for 40 yards. Leading receiver was Jacoby Myers, 5 receptions for 98 yards. On the flip side for Tennessee, Ryan Tannehill was 11 for 21, 93 yards and 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Dontrell Hillard, 12 carries, 131 yards and 1 touchdown. And their second leading rusher was Donta Foreman, 19 carries for 109 yards. Wow. They had 200-yard rushers in this game.
Yeah. They had 2 big runs.
Oh, okay. Leading receiver, Nick Westbrook, 2 receptions for 25 yards, 1 touchdown, and Cody Hollister, 2 receptions, 22 yards. If you notice, A.J. Brown and Julio Jones were missing from this game. So that could play a big role in what's going on with Tennessee. Marcus, who did you pick in this one?
I picked New England. The main reason, New England on fire. The other reason, still no Derrick Henry there. I think that really affects the Titans. Basically, their whole game plan before revolved around him. You really need him in the fourth quarter when the defense is wore down. And he's just running over people and knock them down. And I actually missed we're not getting any stiff arm highlights this year from Derrick Henry. But I just don't know how much. I picked the Titans to win the division. I just don't know how much faith I can have in him without Derrick Henry there. And Tannehill can't keep having these kind of games. Only 93 yards, and 1 touchdown, interception. And New England right now, it's just hot. We talked about it earlier. New England is hot right now. To me, this was an easy pick. I picked New England, and I was right.
Brian?
Yeah, I also went with the Patriots on this one. The Patriots, man, they showed their dominance on both sides of the ball. Offensively, like Herman said, they put up 394 offensive yards. They were 40% on third down. The defense did get 3 fumble recoveries in this game and an interception. They also sacked Tannehill twice in this game. So they were just putting the pressure on them. And you're right, Marcus. The Titans are kind of a shell of themselves. Both of their starting wide receivers, their starting running back is not in the game. They did get a good running game, but you can just tell that Tannehill is just not the same player, without his wide receivers in there, which is understandable. So, unless they get healthy, it's going to be tough for them to slow down. And the Colts are hotter than ever. So that they might be in trouble with that division.
Mark?
Yeah, I took the Patriots in this one, man. They rolling off the 6-game winning streak. The Mac attack, he was efficient in this game. Played down the field and so forth. Despite them giving up 2 rushers, both getting 100 yards, the defense turned the ball over, like Brian had said. The Patriots are hot right now. They rolling with Mac Jones, and this is, like I say, December is when the time you want to get hot. You want to turn it up at this particular time. So yeah, I took the Patriots, and they were successful.
And as you can tell from the hat I'm wearing, I obviously took Tennessee. I don't think I knew A.J. Brown was going to be out when I picked this game either. So, I think Tennessee, if they can get their wide receivers healthy, they did get it. They do still have a good lead in the division, so they got some cushion to play with. The Colts are hot, but I think Tennessee will still win the division, and I think they will still be somebody to contend with in the playoffs. Again, their receivers need to get hot, but this game, the Patriots are looking like the old Patriots now, especially when you go to Foxborough. Winning at home, but winning up there is hard for a road team, and the road team down both their starting receivers and their starting running back. It's rough, but yeah, I picked the Tennessee Titans, and I got this one wrong. All right, let's move into the Sunday nighter, the Turnover Bowl. Ridiculous. Cleveland traveled to Baltimore to take on the Ravens, and the Ravens pulled this one out 16-10, despite some very ugly football. Lamar Jackson was 20 for 32, 165 yards, 1 touchdown, and 4 interceptions. 4 interceptions. Lamar Jackson was the leading rusher, 17 carries for 68 yards. Devontae Freeman, 16 carries for 52 yards. I think they finally figured out who they want to be their running back now. Mark Andrews was the leading receiver, 4 catches, 65 yards, 1 touchdown, and Marquise Brown was second behind him, 8 receptions for 51 yards. The Cleveland Browns, Bakerfield was 18 for 37, 247 yards, 1 touchdown. Kareem Hunt, 7 carries for 20 yards. Nick Chubb, 8 carries for 16 yards. Leading receiver was Jarvis Landry, 6 receptions, 111 yards. Cleveland, I'll start with this one. I picked the Ravens. I got this one right. Cleveland, they're not getting that running game going. They really relied on that running game, and they couldn't get that going in this game. Landry, was their leading receiver, 6 catches, 111 yards. This was an ugly football game. I mean, they were just turning the ball over. It just seemed like left and right. Like, here, you take it. Nah, you take it. Here, you take it. Nah, you take it. It was ridiculous. And I pose a question to you guys after this game. Is Lamar still in the MVP talk after a 4-game, pick like that? And I mean, they won, but is he still, in the running for that? My opinion, I think it hurts him. Brian, what you got?
I was with you, Herman. I did pick the Ravens. They did get back to their winning ways. I mean, the offense, despite the interceptions, was balanced. 148 rushing yards, 155 passing yards. Cleveland just couldn't capitalize on none of those turnovers. Cleveland should have beat Baltimore. They just you turn over the ball 4 times, you should lose in the NFL. It's just like that. But the Ravens had 37 minutes of time of possession. to only 22 minutes for the Browns. And they were 40% on third down. So when the rubber meets the road, the Ravens did what they had to do to get this dub in. And the sad part about Cleveland is that they had their whole offense back this week. I mean, they had Kareem Hunt, they had Chubb. They should have ran the ball all over them. I don't know what it was. It was an ugly game, like you said, Herman. But I picked the Ravens. As for Lamar, he's there, but he's like the last in the discussion. Like he would need to have a couple phenomenal 6 games to get back to win the MVP this year, in my opinion, because that game was just ugly. And it could just be because he was coming off the illness or whatever. But I picked the Ravens. I picked this one.
Did we ever find out what the illness was, or we still don't know?
No, we never said.
No idea.
It wasn't COVID.
Mark,
that's all we do know.
No, yeah, we just know it wasn't COVID. Mark, who you got? Who'd you pick?
Yeah, this one I took the Ravens also. But yeah, the Browns did not look like the Browns at all. Neither did the Ravens either. The turnover. But I mean, I don't think Lamar is MVP talked about right now because of his play and him missing a couple games too. I just think that they just need to get back to doing what they do best. But yeah, I took the Ravens on this one.
And Marcus.
Yeah, I also picked the Ravens. Bless you.
Thank you.
Next time, go on mute, sir.
I don't know how to do that. I saw was leave studio.
So yeah, I picked the Ravens. Like you guys said, it was a very ugly game. You just thought there'd been some weather going on. Some rain, or it's been really, really cold, or some snow. Lamar just throwing 4 picks, and then Cleveland having 2 fumbles lost. But like you said, Cleveland wasn't able to capitalize on turnovers. Their offense doesn't look spectacular at all. Question was, is Lamar still an MVP talk? I would say, yeah, this doesn't look good. He's dropped a little bit. He missed the last game, but one game doesn't define your season. You're bound to have a game like that. You don't want those picks, even though 4 is a lot. I think the biggest question is, I don't even think it's a question. I just feel like there's no way Bakerfield gets a contract extension. I think there's no way they're going to give him. I think they're going to move on because he's I don't think he's the one. They get behind. He can if they get ahead, which I don't think they ever were in this game. Then they're great, but if they get behind, you can't depend on Bakerfield to lead you to a comeback, and that's been proven time and time again. And so I think that's the biggest statement by that game was that Bakerfield's probably not going to get his contract extended.
He can get traded to Cleveland. I mean, he can get traded to the Steelers. That'll take care of Mark's problem.
You move on, Herman.
All right. Let's move on to the last game of the week. This was the Monday nighter.
Herman has to wear the hat. Way too loud and way too ugly.
It was.
And that's not what you're supposed to be playing. You're supposed to be playing.
Well, he ain't ready to talk yet, so
You said you.
Hold on. All right. So the Seahawks traveled to the WTF team, and they pulled this one off. This was an ugly game too, kind of. Washington won this one 17-15. Taylor Heineken was 27 for 35, 223 yards, one touchdown, 1 interception. Antonio Gibson was your leading rusher, 29 carries, 111 yards. J.D. McKissick was behind him, 7 carries for 30 yards. Leading receiver, Terry McLaurin, 4 receptions for 51 yards. And DeAndre Carter, 4 receptions for 42 yards. Should put spaces in between your words. So
I'm like, hater son. What is that?
Hater son.
You understood what he said. You understood exactly.
Anyway.
Hater son.
haters.
On the flip side, Russell Wilson, 20 for 31, 247 yards, 2 touchdowns. Leading rusher was Russell Wilson, 2 rushes for 16 yards. That's ridiculous. The running back, 7 rushes for 14 yards. Leading receiver, Tyler Lockett, 3 receptions, 96 yards. Mark, you can start this one out.
This one I took the Washington football team on this one. Heineke seemed to be developing an identity with this game.
Heineken.
Washington defense had to step up at the end to pull this game out. Russ just don't look like Russ right now. They're sad to see. His days might be numbered in Seattle also. We talked about Bakerfield. But yeah, I took the Washington team. They were successful.
Brian.
I picked Washington. They won.
Marcus.
Why you sound so enthusiastic?
So of course, I picked my Washington football team. Yeah, they pulled it out. Heineke looking great, going a 3-game win streak. All hail to the Washington football team.
Fair weather.
My only complaint is they really need to work on these onside kicks. There was no reason that first onside kick just flew out of that dude's hands. I was really worried about that part, but the defense stepped up, but I think it's more of a Russell more than the fact that the defense stepped up. Shut up! I want to meet you. More than the defense stepped up is the fact that Russell isn't what he was. He did. Russell didn't. Whatever.
Change his name to Johnny Gill Herbert.
I know how to unmute myself.
Russell isn't what he isn't what I don't think he's recovered from that thumb. I mean, I think it was middle finger, whatever. He messed up with his thorn hand. I think it shows. I think it's time for the Seahawks to rebuild. I think it's time for us to move on. Maybe he can go to Pittsburgh. You never know. But it's time for Pete Carroll to go ahead and retire. I think he's like the oldest coach in the league, so maybe it's time to retire. Let somebody else come in there, one of those young bucks come in there and do what they do. But yeah, the football team won, and hey, it was a good game.
You really think that was a good game?
They won. That's all the good game.
17-15.
Hey, that's all talking.
And for all of y'all,
go ahead, Herman. Go ahead.
Unmute yourself, Brian. He muted you.
He don't know how to do it.
Yeah, he does. Stop dreaming. You're not coming to catch us. You, the Eagles, and the Giants are all cellar dwellers. Run till that.
I don't know what I got to do anything about the game. Okay.
Huh?
So
because the pundits are going on and on how they're going to come back.
Who said that?
Everybody.
A lot of people are. I picked Seattle. I got it wrong. I don't know what's going on with Russell Wilson. And there's no reason why he would go to Pittsburgh so he can run for his life there, too, because their line is trash also. Ain't no point in going there either.
And what happened to him? Why did he not throw the ball to DK Metcalf?
He had one catch then.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was crazy. I don't understand. But yep, I picked the Seahawks. I got it wrong. And that's the games for last week. All right. So let's move.
Yes, what were you?
I was 2-4.
Oh, shoot. One,
bad week.
2, 3, 4, 5-1.
I was 5-1 also. If I hadn't picked those Cowboys, I'd have been 6.
Me too.
Wow. All right, so let's move into this week's games. All right, so we got the first game's the Thursday night game. We got the 7-4 Cowboys traveling to New Orleans to take on the 5-6 Saints. Cowboys are giving up 4.5. Mark, who you got on this one?
Who's starting for Saints quarterback? Is it going to be Trent?
It's going to be Taysom Hill.
It's going to be
They announced it today. Taysom Hill is starting.
I said I wasn't going to do this. I'm taking the dang old Cowboys.
Dang on Cowboys.
Mark, who you got?
Cowboys.
No, I meant Marcus. I'm sorry.
Also, even though I would have went 6-0 last week if I had not picked the Cowboys, but I'm still picking the Cowboys this week over the Saints. I just don't have any faith in the Saints at all. I'm picking the Cowboys. And if I think if Buffalo can run like that all over the defense, shoot, the Cowboys show the game.
Brian, who you got?
You got the number 1 Cowboys offense going against the number 8 Saints defense. Saints defense is extremely good against the run.
I'll say it front.
Because I'm thinking reverse psychology, thinking that I need to pick the Saints instead of the Cowboys way.
You want to wear that dunce hat?
I would. Matter of fact, yes, you're right. The Saints. I picked the Saints.
I ain't gonna let you do it by yourself, Brian. I'm picking the Saints.
Oh my God!
Y'all some, how me and Mark picking the Cowboys? I don't pick the Cowboys. What kind of nonsense is that?
I would have never imagined that.
If you watched NFL
Honestly,
Network, you will see how sometimes Michael Irvin uses reverse psychology for the Cowboys to get it done.
Oh my God!
On the real though, no, seriously, on the real, with the, I don't have a lot of confidence in Dallas right now because of the way they're playing, and then we're getting hit. We got hit with this COVID bad. When your head coach ain't there, it's a lot of scrambling is going to be going on.
Do you know how many coaches we have? We have like 28 coaches. We have a coach for every 3 players.
But look,
that's crazy. Oh, and how the heck did McAdoo get on the squad, Herman?
No, he was a consul.
Okay, can we put these games?
I'm sorry, but McAdoo, man, come on.
I wasn't done anyway. Like I was saying, the offensive line looked kind of bad last week, and the offensive line coach was out with COVID. Yeah. I was actually contemplating picking the Saints already anyway. When Brian picked them, then I can go ahead and pick them. So I picked the Saints this week. Next game, moving on, we got the 6-5 Chargers. This ought to be a good one. At the 7-4 Bengals. The Bengals are giving up 3. I will start this one off, and I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think the Bengals have finally kind of figured things out. It's a home game for them. Chargers are a little iffy here and there, so I'm going with the Bengals. But this will be a good game to see 2 quarterbacks that we're going to see a lot of in the future.
They were drafted at the same time, right? This is both their second year.
Yes.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Yes. So this is something a battle we're gonna see often throughout the years, hopefully. So give me the Bengals on this one. Mark, who you got?
Oh man, I think they played a tough one last year too. Two of the upper star quarterbacks coming in the league, young guys. I think the Bengals got the momentum, especially after the butt whipping they gave to Pittsburgh last week. I'm taking the Bengals.
Brian?
Man, you got the number 6 passing offense of the Chargers against the number 11 defense of the Bengals. I should pick the Bengals, but I think the Chargers are due. For some reason, every time I put my faith in the Bengals, they end up flopping or doing something stupid, becoming the Bungles. I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Marcus?
Thank you, Brian, for not making me alone with this damn game. I'm also going to go with the Chargers. This was my hardest game to pick for this week because I feel like you go either way. The Bengals, I feel like, are hot right now. But I just think the Chargers, I still got a lot of faith in Justin Herbert and what the Chargers can do. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the Chargers.
All right. Moving on to the next one. We got the 4-7 New York Giants traveling to the 5-7 Dolphins. Dolphins are giving up 3. Marcus, who you got on this one?
Before you start, Marcus, the Giants quarterback is probably not going to play.
Who?
Yes, that's right. Daniel Jones is out.
Daniel Jones is more than likely out.
Well, that wasn't going to affect my pick anyway. I was picking the Dolphins. I was going to pick the Dolphins anyway.
Okay.
The Dolphins defense is fire right now. The Giants, even with what's the name, Daniel Jones in there, it's some garbage. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Dolphins.
Brian,
you got the 26th ranked Giants offense versus the 32nd ranked Dolphins defense. But like Marcus said, I think the Dolphins are hot right now. I think they're the better team. I'm going with the Dolphins.
Mark?
Give me the Fins. I'm taking the Fins.
Nope. Oh. All right. And I'll close this one out. I'm picking the Dolphins also. I know the Giants pulled one out last week against the E-Girls, but the Dolphins defense is much better, and I think the Dolphins offense is much better too. Yeah, you damn right. I'm disrespectful to the E-Girls. All right. Moving on to the next game, we got the 5-6 WTF taking on the 6-5 Raiders. Raiders are giving up 2.5. Mark, who you got in this one?
I'm gonna take the Washington football team with this.
Good choice, Mark. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
Brian, who you got?
Man, you got the 10th rushing offense of the WTF and the second-ranked passing offense of the Raiders. The Raiders had a little more time. They've been off since Thursday. They're playing at home. Give me the Raiders.
Marcus? Oh, I'm sorry. I supposed to go. My bad. Never mind.
You already know I'm picking the Washington football team. They're going to go in there, get on the 4-game win. They're going to come out there with a 4-game winning streak. They're going to go into Las Vegas. If you're going to Vegas, bet all your money on the Washington football team, you can't lose. Washington football team.
Fair weather fan.
Hater.
I'm picking the Raiders.
I knew you would. I don't even make sense.
I'm picking the Raiders.
It does make sense.
I never picked WTF.
Y'all barely beat the Seahawks. Y'all think y'all going to beat the Raiders at home?
Yes.
And they had like 4 days.
I'm picking the Raiders.
Yes.
Right. They had basically a bye week.
Right.
All right. Moving on. This one ought to be an interesting one. Sunday night game. It looks like the NFL kind of got this one right. 6-5 Broncos taking on the 7-4 Chiefs. Chiefs are giving up 9.5. I will start this one off. I'm going with the Chiefs. I'm not saying the Chiefs are necessarily 100% back, but I believe the Chiefs can beat the Broncos. Divisional game, it'll probably be a close game. If the Chiefs defense keeps playing the way they do, then they will truly be back. Give me the Chiefs. Marcus, who you got?
Yeah, I'm about to pick the Chiefs. I didn't think I'd be saying this, but if the Chiefs defense can play like you said, they play like they've been playing, then, I don't think there'll be much of a game. They should be able to blow the Broncos out. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Chiefs.
Mark?
The Chiefs.
That's racial.
We're not allowed to do that. Right. That's consideration these days. We need to edit that out.
Brian.
You guys, I'm going with the Chiefs. We got the 6th-ranked Broncos defense against the 2nd-ranked Chiefs offense. Chiefs got back Clyde Edwards-Helaire last week. I think the Chiefs are the better team, and they're just coming off a bye. And Andy Reid has like some ridiculous record coming off a bye. So give me the Chiefs.
Sure does. All right. And the last game, the Monday nighter, that should be a doozy. We got the 8-4 Patriots at the 7-4 Bills. This one will be for the division lead and probably the number 1 seed in the AFC too. Maybe. No, I think the Ravens are still up there.
Ravens are still up there.
Bills are giving up 2.5. Yeah, Bills are giving up 2.5. Mark, who you got in this game? Let's hear it.
This is a tough one for me because I do believe in Bill's Mafia, but I think the Patriots are riding their way. I'm taking the Patriots in this.
Brian, who you got?
The number 7 Patriots offense against the number 1 Bills defense. I'm going with the Bills. The Bills are at home. I think they get motivated for this game. I think they step up. I think they play like they supposed to have been playing like they played last year. Give me Buffalo.
Mark?
So I'm gonna go ahead and take the what's going on?
Because Herbert said, it's like Herbert just said, Mark, and Mark goes,
Marcus.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the Patriots. This game actually, like this pretty much determines this is a big game because they haven't. This is the first time they played each other this season, and if I recall correctly, I remember predictions. I don't think I predicted the Patriots didn't win either one of their games, and here I am picking them. In December to win this game because, like we've been saying all the show, Patriots are hot, and even though the Bills blew out the Saints last week, the Patriots are not the Saints. I don't think they're going to be able to come in there and do what they did to the Saints, and so I'm gonna go ahead and take the Patriots.
And I'm going with the Bills in this one. Bills are at home. I think the Bills' mentality is this is our division. This is the first game. You got to get this home game in these divisional games like this. You got to get this home game. And even though the Patriots have been hot, I just think the Bills' defense is going to step up, and I think that offense is going to get going too. So I'm taking the Bills.
See how you did that, bro?
Yeah, he understood the assignment.
Yeah, you didn't understand. You didn't understand it at all.
All right, so those are the games for the week coming up. We will hit you with our final thoughts, and then we will get out of here. Mark, what's your final thought?
Not a whole lot to just the thoughts and prayers go out to the families of Michigan school children. It's just a terrible.
Can't barely hear you, Mark.
Mark, you gotta put the thing there.
I was just saying, not a whole lot as far as final thoughts. Just want to send out prayers and thoughts to the family of the high school shooting in Michigan. It's just heart wrenching to hear about that story. That's just it.
Brian.
Yeah, when we go through this world, it's hard to have really good friends that will do anything for you. So this thanks goes out to Mr. Parker. My car is in the shop. I needed to pick my child up all the way. I needed to get my child home back to college, and I needed to be back Sunday so we could do some things. So I asked him politely. He gratuitously agreed to let us get up at 2 a.m.
Spell gratuitous.
Drive Gratuious. Gratuitous. Drive 4 hours down, 4 hours back. Stay up, have breakfast, do show prep, and I just want to thank them because I really, really appreciated it. My friends are my lifesavers, and they're more than my friends; they're my brothers. Except for that guy up there.
Oh.
You're welcome, Brian. Thank you.
Yeah, I just piggyback off of what Mark said. Prayers to the families of the high school shooting. Not just the victims of the shooting, but anybody that was there. Because think about having to go back if you're one of the kids. You're fortunate enough that you survived that, but then you have to go back into that atmosphere. People need to be more responsible with their guns. They really do. That's what it boils down to. I'm not going to say people shouldn't own guns, but people need to be more responsible. And you need to know what your kids are doing. You really need to check on your kids. Okay. Stay safe out there. They're starting to lift the mask mandates again, but do what you think is best for you and yours. Marcus, take us home.
Before we get out of here, I want to let everyone know that in two weeks from tonight, we'll be doing our 100th episode, which is a huge milestone for us. We started this journey 4 years ago, and we've come a long way. Still trying to get our subscribers up, but we really enjoy doing what we're doing, and we want to encourage everyone to help us celebrate. If you're in the group, you should have seen a post from the group. Make a post with the hashtag 100 episode, speaking on your time in the group, your favorite show moment, or you want to give a prediction about how your favorite team season will end. We will read it doing the show.
You really want to laugh. Look at some of our first season episodes.
Right.
You want to get a laugh.
Yeah.
And also, if you'd like to come on to the show that night and just speak for a little bit, just hit us up, DM us, or put it in the group, and we will see what we can work out. So yeah, just want to invite y'all to come join us. Like I said, there's a huge milestone for us, doing this for 4 years now, and we've gotten all the way to the 100th episode. So just come out and check us out and celebrate with us. Also,
hey, Marcus, real quick, you want to talk about next week's show?
Oh
Yeah.
next week's show will be on Tuesday because one of us got some previous obligations for Wednesday, so you will see us next week on Tuesday at 8 o'clock. So be sure to check us out and look forward. That will be episode 99, the last one before the 100th episode that I was just referring to. So if we want to encourage you to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you're watching on YouTube. You can also catch us in Facebook on our Facebook group, The Live Game, at Twitter at The Live Game 3, and on Instagram at The Official Delay of Game. This is the last month of the year, y'all. Go out there, do your little Christmas shopping, holiday shopping. This year went by fast. I'm not gonna front. I'm not even ready for 2022 yet, but it is what it is. We will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Peace. We out.
Peace.